Hey, what's up, garden friends? How's everybody doing? I'm good. I'll pot up a cactus. This is actually intended to be given as a gift to someone for Christmas time. My most recent video was on this roadkill cactus, the Consulea rubescens. Really neat cactus, a really cute cactus. Grow rather quickly, and they get rather large. My original plan had been to use this really adorable pot here. I like this pot a lot. It has a really nice shape to it. Thought about it like just now as I was sitting down to do this, and I was like, what's wrong with you? That's not gonna fit in that little pot. So I'm gonna run to the hardware store real quick. Home Depot's right down the street. May not be a great selection this time of year. I don't know, but gonna see what they have, see what I can find, because I wanna go bigger with this. Yeah, I don't know what I was thinking there. In what world would those cactus fit in that tiny little pot? It's 21 degrees outside. I need to make this quick. Okay, these are actually really cute. 548. Oh, come on. Yeah, I like these. Like they're plastic. They don't look that plasticky. That is so not what I came here for. I'm only getting two. I think. Okay, you need to move. Okay, never mind. I think that's good there. I can just reach over here. This is probably much more appropriately sized. That should do. Okay, look at this one. That's just precious. Okay, yeah, I kind of love this pot. Not a fan of drainage dishes being attached, but they put the holes in the sides so it'll drain better and won't sit in its own water probably. I love this. Ooh, I think I like this one a lot better. Really big, but I think I might end up going a different direction. This is much better. Perhaps a bit too large. You don't want to overpot cactus. That can be problematic. But since this is the winter dormancy period with the cactus, I think I can plop them in here. They're not going to be watered, so it should be fine. A fun reflection there. Here I am holding my tripod. Hey, and I also grabbed some cactus while I was there, just because, I mean, why not? I'm not going to be using all of these, but some of them. In fact, I think I'll do a cactus haul, and if I did decide to do that, then that will have already been out by now. What I would call it, tiny cactus haul maybe, so keep an eye out for that if you want to know more about these cactus. They all do unfortunately have flowers stuck to the top of them, so I'm going to try and get those off. If it seems like getting them off is going to be damaging to the cactus, I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait because the person who's receiving this planter moves their stuff outside in the spring and summertime. A day in the sun will loosen this up and you can pluck those right off. I think that would be much less damaging to these guys. They're not in active growth right now. I at least actually do want to get the flowers off of them, just because that way, even if there's still some glue left, then light can still get through to them. During the winter months, these are more tender, they have more flex to them. I'm worried that pulling that off might damage them, and I don't have tweezers, I don't have rubbing alcohol, I have nothing to get these off right now, so I think they'll just have to stay, unfortunately. I hate them, but I think they have to stay for right now. There's that. Get this potted up, I'm using an all-purpose cactus mix. I am going to be adding a lot of stuff to this. Unfortunately, the commercially available cactus mixes have a lot of peat in them, that's not great for cactus. It does at least drain a lot more quickly, so that's good, but it needs a lot of work. I'm gonna add a hefty amount of perlite to this mix, and I do mean very hefty, a lot of perlite. Do some lava stone, have some bigger chunks of gravel in here. That's gonna create more pockets so it dries out more quickly. A ton of sand here. This is more of a coarse sand. It's not super fine. Or I guess it's more of a medium grade sand. I say grade, I meant grain. You know what I mean. And then, okay, all right, and then some of that sand. There we go, that'll work. This is a larger, more coarse grain. Ooh, this is oddly satisfying. Maybe I should just make a sand garden. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead, carefully blend this together until it's mixed evenly all the way through, and then go ahead and start putting the cactus in here. I did just barely manage to get the flowers off of these guys. Actually, I set my space heaters out here to 80, and I set them about 2 feet away and just gave it a few minutes, watched them closely so it would gently warm it, so I could just go ahead and pop the glue off. It did, unfortunately, take some spines with it, though. It's kind of the way it goes. Really nice if they just stopped putting the flowers on these things. But hey, what's done is done. I'm gonna go ahead and pot this up. I can already tell that there's a bit too much soil in here. It's piled up a little bit higher than it should be. Since I still have all these smaller cactus to put in here, I'm going to go ahead and remove some more soil. I'm doing it this way just because it's a lot easier to remove the soil now if there's too much of it than when I have all these other smaller cactus in here. It's going to make it way more difficult, and I want these guys raised up a little bit higher than the soil level. So I'm going to be top dressing this with a hefty amount of gravel. Since I'm not going to be watering this in because this is not really the right time of year to even be repotting cactus, between October and February, it's best to avoid repotting them. I want to make sure that the soil's packed down really well and that there aren't any air pockets or anything like that in here. All right, now let's go ahead and add in the babies. I'm not doing much at all with the root memory. I know this probably isn't in focus. I can't see my viewer. I'm sorry. But because, like I said, I don't want to disturb their roots too much, I'm just going to very lightly graze the sides of this. I've got all these guys potted up in here. I'm not loving the layout, so I'm going to play around with it a little bit and come back when I like the way it's set up a little bit better. I think the problem is that this is just, it was missing hardscape. I always like to have something in my planters that's a little bit larger, something stone or wood, just to sort of set things apart. In my succulent planters, I mean. This is the only piece of stone I had to work with. When I put it the other way, it really just took up too much space. And with it buried in here like this, I kind of like it because it actually fits to the cactus fairly well. These are going to grow. That's the other thing. I would go ahead and just space things differently with these roadkill cactus up here, but they're going to grow and they could stay in this pot for quite a while. Really though, since that soil blend has peat in it, just about 2 years is pretty much about as long as it can stay because peat breaks down. It holds on to too much moisture. It's not great for cactus. I don't understand why the commercial cactus ones have peat in them. But it's the time of year here where there's not really anything I can get from the nurseries that's more appropriate. So that's just sort of what I had to use. It's amended well, but it is still going to break down. I'm just going to keep on playing with this, moving it around, finding different angles and directions. I think I like that better, actually. Looked a little bit weird having it set off to the side like that. I don't mind it like this. This looks fine. You can see the different bits of whatever the different colors of things are in there. I don't know. I'm not a geologist. This is really more of a shadow effect here. This looks like a cave. There's not really a cave there, but I kind of like that. Go ahead and put that Mammalaria here in the front and fairly center. And then I could perhaps do that. Yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna do. Oh, put this one in here. Is it bothering anybody? I'm not wearing gloves while I'm doing this. Skin's pretty thick and the spines on these particular cactus are fairly flexible, so it's not really bothering me. Should have played that off so much cooler. Yeah, I don't need gloves. I'm a cactus savage. Nah, not the case. I have to say I'm liking this layout a lot better. All of these everything in here is going to have to be moved eventually. This is just going to be something kind of fun and cute for a couple of years, and then it'll have to be rearranged because all of these cactus in here will grow. The smallest one is actually going to be the Echinopsis back there, but that one I have noticed they do grow faster. So this, I think, only about 6 or 7 inches high. It'll be back here. And then in the meantime, this will be growing, the notocactus, and then the Mammalaria growing much more slowly. Not super slow. They have a nice moderate growth rate for a cactus, but it'll take them longer to come up, and they won't be blocking this in the time that these are all together in this planter. Okay, well, as much as I am enjoying this, I do think no cactus succulent arrangement would be complete without a top dressing of gravel. I'm just using these marble nuggets. They're shiny, they're white. I think that they're pretty. They'll contrast nicely with the red of the pot, help bring out the colors and the cactus that are in here. That, and marble's trendy. This is very Pinterest and Instagrammy, having marble in here. Are larger and chunkier than what I'm used to using as a top dressing. That's okay, I kind of like that. That's also why I made sure to plant everything in here a little bit deeper so I can have a hefty layer of the gravel in here. I may even have to go through, adjust the cactus a little bit, which is fine, because I don't want it like squishing around the bases of them. Come on and spread that out, get into all the gaps, and be done. Hey, there we go. All done and really overexposed. Yeah, that doesn't help much. There we go. Turned off my lighting and kind of get a better look of what those marble chips look like in there. I did remove the Echinopsis that was back here. I decided to move the notocactus over. I just think that creates better symmetry, which isn't something I typically look for. Not in a succulent arrangement or a cactus arrangement, but it's just because of something about the pot, the rock, and the layout of the roadkill cactus that are back here. It was just bugging me having that guy back there. I think this layout works a lot better. Since this is technically going to be a Christmas gift for someone, I had gotten this little gingerbread house thing for a fairy garden, but I didn't really leave much space for it. I can tuck it in back here, but I don't know, that looks a little bit wonky. I might go ahead and leave it in there. It's because that way the person who I'm giving this to can move it and keep it as a decoration. If this were something I were like selling to someone, no, I wouldn't go with that. And I also picked up some of these little beads that are very bouncy and they go all over the place. I thought I would kind of toss these around into certain parts of the pot just because they have a reflectiveness to them that looks kind of like ice. But I'm just going to use a little. I don't want to use too much, and that's partially because this is going to be outdoors part of the year. That stuff's not going to, it's not organic, it's not going to degrade. I don't want animals getting in there and eating it. It's fine if it washes down into the soil, that'll just help with the drainage. I really just kind of wanted a little bit of it in there just to kind of, like I said, it adds a little bit of reflectiveness and sparkle. I thought I had a little snowman that like you put in a fairy garden, but I don't know where he went. So instead I'm just going to kind of tuck these gingerbread man figurines in here. Gingerbread people figurines. I think the snowman would have been funnier because like cactus, desert, snowman, you know. I wanted to be sure to give a look at this where it didn't have the wintry Christmas things in it, because those aren't going to be in it all year, so I was designing it as if it's going to be out all year. Then I just went ahead and embellished with the Christmas stuff. The gingerbread house looks wonky back there behind the stone, but I don't think that it would make sense to pull the stone out and put the gingerbread house there. Since 11 months out of the year, this isn't going to be holiday themed. And just pull it out. It's part of the gift though, so it's staying for now. But hey, I like it. I think it looks cute. I had been toying with the idea of instead of doing all of this, spreading them out enough and then filling in a lot of the gaps with the notocactus and just having random bulk-shaped cactus in there. It would look like a weird cactus forest, but they only had 2 of them at the store. So just went ahead, did what I could to make that work. This Mammalaria is not wanting to focus. Well, there we go. That looks better. That's how that looks. There's part of me that's tempted to keep on going. I want to put like Christmas lights and things on the cactus and ornament. It's just, I think that's too much though. I don't want to make this a disaster for the person to have to take apart. So I'm gonna stop there. What do you think? Like I said, I like it. What are some things you guys are doing with your cactus? You can hit me up on Instagram at Tropical Plant Party. I have all my social media linked down below. Follow me and I'll follow you back. It's a lot of fun looking at each other's pictures and talking with everybody. Oh, and don't forget to leave the video a thumbs up. It helps a ton, helps the channel a lot, lets me know I'm doing a good job, and I really, really do appreciate it, so thank you for that. And subscribe as well. I upload multiple times a week, and don't forget to hit that notification bell. That way you know when new videos come out. Alright, that's it. Quick and easy, very simple, unseasonable, like I had mentioned. Not always best to do a cactus repotting between October and February. The person I'm giving this to is very cactus savvy, so they'll know to not water it and whatnot. We'll be talking. We talk all the time. It's going to like my best friend ever, so that's not going to be a problem. 2 things I forgot to mention. There is a drainage hole in this pot, and I dabbed just a teeny tiny bit of cinnamon in the spots where I pulled that glue off where the spines got ripped, just to help dry out those spots, create a scar, just so that things like fungus and bacteria don't end up growing where those wounds are in the cactus. Why they should knock it off with those stupid flowers. Hey, I hope everybody's doing well, having a great day, great time, great night, great life, whatever's going on for you. I hope it's good. I hope it's great. Fantastic. All right, as always, everybody, most important thing, keep on growing. Bye.